Last week on Devotions from History, on February 23rd, we talked about Colonel William Travis asking for help at the Alamo. Well, the help didn't come, or at least not as much as was needed. And by the time March 5th came around, Travis realized that the hope for the cause was gone, and he called the men together. Now, stories say there were 180 men that remained, and Travis pulled down his army saber, drew a line in the sand, and said, "Any of you who want to leave may do so without shame. Those who want to stay, I promise you certain death. Cross over the line if you're ready to stay." Well, according to the stories, 178 men crossed the line. 2 remained on the other side, one of which was Jim Bowie. Jim Bowie lay in his cot dying of typhoid fever and couldn't get out. The other was Moses Rose, a Frenchman. Jim Bowie picked up his pistol, laid it across his chest, said his powder was dry, and called for Davy Crockett to come and carry his cot over the line, which Davy and another man did. Moses Rose, however, chose to leave, and that night escaped under the darkness over the wall. He's been called the Coward of the Alamo, but he was the one who remained to tell us the story of Jim Bowie and the line in the sand. You know, after the Mexicans came in and the battle was over on March 6th and all the men were dead, it was reported to Jim Bowie's mother that he was gone. And she said these words, "I'll bet you they didn't find any wounds on his back." What she meant was she knew her son well enough to know that he fought until the end. And the story goes that as Jim Bowie was dying of typhoid fever, he sat himself up in his bed, braced his back against the wall, and took out a few of the enemy before he was cut down. You know, it's true that the way we live usually determines the way we'll die. The Apostle Paul in 2 Timothy chapter 4 gives us some great words of a man who's fixing to face death. And he said, "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Now there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall award to me on that day, and not to me only, but to all those who long for his appearing." The Apostle Paul and Jim Bowie were 2 men in history that showed us not only some things about living, but some things about dying. Because the truth is, of every 100 people who are born, 100 of them will die. It will face all of us. And here's the thing. You get to decide what your epitaph is going to say. The kind of life you live today on March 5th determines the kind of person that will be remembered when you are gone. So, today on March 5th, go out and make history today. Live the kind of life that you want to be remembered for.